Hi and welcome to my channel. I'm Simon and today I'm back with a bit of a different video. It's a hybrid, as you'll have seen from the thumbnail, of a mixture of my monthly Bookish catch-up, which I wanted to do live every month, but I'm just not going to be able to this month for various reasons, but hopefully will from next month. And at the same time also being a bit of market research, although I don't think of YouTube that seriously that I would ever do proper market research. Insights from you into possible Bookish backdrops for the rest of the year, or for when I'm at home, because I will be filming a lot on the go this summer, which we'll talk about later as we have a catch up on all things from reading to books and prompts to work to events coming up and all of those good things. And actually I wanted to say, hopefully this video will give those of you who are new to this channel a little bit more of an insight into who I am and what I do, because there have been quite a lot of new folk here, which is lovely to see. It's so exciting. And if you've not left a comment yet, do in the comments below. And this applies to you if you've been here since day one, since year 3, since 4 months ago, whatever, because I do love hearing from you. And as you may have seen, if you've been here a while, YouTube shared with me that there were lots of comments I hadn't seen, and so I'm going through liking them. So if you're getting little love hearts from me at the moment that technically should have been from 4 years ago, the love was there then, it's there now, it will be there forevermore. Anyway, first, possibly most obvious thing to talk to you about update-wise is the fact that I have sorted out the office. So this was the sitting room, but I wanted to have somewhere that I could just sort of do my work, shut the door when the hours are done and like leave, because I was shielding last year and the year before and it was getting a bit much. And also I was ending up working in the library upstairs, and that space is meant to be a space where I just chill out, have a lovely time, lovely bookish time and a reading time. Quick update from editing Simon. I'm aware how lucky I am. Well, not lucky actually. I know it's a privilege that I'm in that position. I have the space to be able to move around in. Before I sounded like an absolute prat. The reason I don't say lucky is because I work bloody hard. I'm in an undisclosed location, which you'll see later. I'm not going to end up filming in here, even though this is quite a nice backdrop, because again, I'll feel worky. And I don't think there's much difference between me and work me, although I think I'm probably a little bit more at work. I do like the idea of, because upstairs is all about good fun booky times, as it were, I would like that to be the case with the channel. So there we go. For those of you who are wondering where the bubblegum lady has gone from my library, there she is, right above my grand sofa, which used to be behind me as well. And we have the spinning bookshelf that I bought that is now covered in my notebooks, but I might need to work out how I'm doing that. So down here, just so that you know, if you're interested, the books are in alphabetical order by author. You've got fiction, which goes up to there, or maybe there actually, or no, there actually. Then you've got poetry, which is behind me, space for board games down there, some big sort of coffee table kind of books, and then my non-fiction going down there. There is space for more books, which is always exciting. So that is the office. It's made a huge difference to 2022 already that I've got this space that I come down to, work, do my work when I'm not traveling for work, and then at like 5:30, shut the door, done. Now let's go up to the library for a library update. I should have mentioned actually, with my monthly Bookish catch-ups, I think I had a phase of calling them my cuppa and a catch-up, so feel free to pause this, go and get yourself a drink and then join me, because I want all my videos to feel like it's just you chatting with a mate about books, but there's something about catch-ups that I think are a little bit more personal. Anyway, this is the corner of the library where my desk used to be here, and I would film on there, and so you'd see the backdrop that I can see now. And so it's a little bit of the library I don't think that has ever been seen. Well, also, you've not been able to see it for stuff, of which, as you can see, a few little bits here and there, including a Costa Awards bag. I'll be talking about the Costa Awards later, and something that me and Mum might be doing with them. As you can see, when I used to sit facing the window, it was great, but I'm going to have an armchair here because I want like a little nook, I guess, between a book trolley and bookshelves. But as you can see, the shadow's a bit off, and so I think what I'm going to probably have to do is I could try this corner here, which I'll show you later, or one of the corners over there. Like I said, the reason for doing this literally was so that the library became more of a cozy space that I can just chill out in. Well, the one thing I was going to say is I ordered this a sofa bed, and this really is kind of a cool funky design. You might have seen it in my last vlog, which thank you for all your lovely feedback on, because it's quite different and it took me a long time to edit, but I'm really chuffed with it and I like how it is for me. But I know that people can be funny about change, but I do feel like 2022, one of the reasons that I'm doing the library change actually is just to shake things up a little bit, because I felt like it was getting a bit, I don't know if I want to say stale. I know I was feeling that I was being a bit more serious than I've been for quite a long time, and I feel like that's not me. Like, I like to think I'm informally informative. Anyway, moving on. I wanted this change up, but I've ordered this sofa bed and the armchair off Made. Not Spawn, just Facts, because it was the sales. And then I was all excited. I was like, oh, they're going to arrive soon. And it's just been kind of put back to March. So epic fail there. That is the library update. So let's head over to another Bookish corner to talk about my reading so far in 2022 and prompts. Ooh! We're now over in another corner of the library. And I do actually really like this backdrop, although the shelves are a little bit empty, but they will fill because that's my 2022 proofs. It does cover up my Penguin classics, my vintage classics and stuff, so I'm a bit like, because the corner's got shelves in it, should I cover them up? Whereas I have a corner over there that doesn't have shelves going all the way around it. Although lots of you, when you've seen the fireplace, have said lovely, lovely things about it. And actually one thing I really want to do is, there are some amazing tiles that for some reason Chris got carpeted over, and I want to be revealed, and it's my blinking library, so I blinking well. Oh, we're in this corner though. I thought I'd have a chat with you about how my reading has been going so far. So I started the year with a new project reading wise, and honestly this has brought me so much joy it is untrue. It's Year of Wonder, classical music for every day, and it's by Clemency Burton Hill, who I am now slightly obsessed with, and it's a different piece of music. Clemency knows classical music really, really well. I don't know if she's a composer or she plays an instrument, but she's involved in music too and presents a classical music show. And each day she gives you a piece of music, tells you about it in a really, I'm going to say it again, informally informative way, which is really just like she describes Bach as the daddy. And then there's other ones where she talks about teasers, and, you know, she makes it really fun and engaging and fascinating. And I've learned already, like, so many new pieces of music. I found some composers that I absolutely love and can't wait to go and listen to more, and it's just been fab. I mean, I have been wanging on about it quite a lot on Instagram, because as well as doing my savage song of the day, which is generally some kind of pop music that I blinking love, because pop music brings me so much joy. Pop music is one of my great loves outside of books. I'm also doing one of these a day as a post. So many people have got it since, and I'm so chuffed that they have, but I'm just so excited that I've got this for like a whole year, and there is a sequel out that I'm going to do in 2023. I can't believe I'm already planning my reading for 2023. I'm in a nice position here as well, but this will not be how the room is, because I'm right between two coffee tables, because they're going to get switched, or one's going to go downstairs. That's the other thing I've got to think about, is how I'm going to have books everywhere when I'm showing them and stuff. Anyway, the first book that I read of 2022, which I'm really superstitious about, and I thought I'd mention because I was meant to do a wrap up today, but I don't have a specific place to film, so I just didn't feel like it was time yet. So I'll probably do my wrap up now at the end of the month, and it'll be a big bumper one. Is that something you prefer, or would you rather I split them into two going forward from February? Let me know that in the comments, please. All sorts of things I'd like to know as we go on. Anyway, my first book that I read this year was Night Bitch by Rachel Yoder, or as I very much enjoyed in my recent blog, just constantly saying, Night Bitch. I am really superstitious about the first book that I read, and I want it to kind of hopefully be kind of sign of things to come reading wise. And if my year of reading is going to be as brilliant and bonkers and quirky and dark and thought-provoking and unusual as this was, then I'm really, really excited. It's about a woman who has a child. She's a stay-at-home mum. She's given up her career in art in order to look after her son, and she feels like she's slowly but surely becoming a dog, and we follow her from there. And there is quite a lot of gruesome stuff as it goes on, and if you love cats as I do, there's a bit that's very, very unsettling, but that's all I'll say. But I just thought it was absolutely brilliant. So we have that, and then I thought I'd just tell you about what, oh, and the other thing actually I haven't got this hand, but I've got the next one, so I suppose this future reading is, I've started reading the Tilted Access Press books in order. I'm really struggling to get the third one. It's a poetry collection. I used to have it. I don't know where it's gone, but it's so expensive, so I might skip 3 because I have read it before. But this is number 2. And number 1 was Panty, and that was bonkers in a very different way. I have got a story graph, and I've moved everything over, so my Goodreads is still there, but I'm not active on it anymore. I haven't decided whether I'm going to make story graph public or not, because one of the things that I find really tricky is when I say that I'm starting to read a book, I'll invariably get a lot of people who, well, there was also Fingersmith Gate, wasn't there? I get people who tell me, oh, I didn't like that book, or, oh, you shouldn't be reading that book by that author, you should be reading that one. And with Fingersmith Gate, where I said, please don't tell me anything about the book, no teasers, no spoilers, I know there's twists, just don't tell me. Some people decided that hints were okay, and it just stopped me reading it because all the enjoyment went out of it. But that said, I can tell you what I'm currently reading because I've already started it, so there, and I'm really, really enjoying it. It's The Island of Missing Trees by Alicia Fack, and I'm really, really cross that I didn't read it last year because it would have been on my books of last year. Sorry, it would have been on my favourite books of last year list. But that said, it could easily, if it carries on the way it is, be on my favourite books of 2022 list. And one thing I should say actually is my stepdad read this and raved about it to me over Christmas, which is really lovely because I don't talk to him about books that much, but he'd absolutely loved it. Prompt wise, I have the prompt jars here. I don't think I've read a single one of my prompt books yet. So let's talk about that over in the corner over there, where I don't know whether you'll be able to see the prompt jars or not, but you can see them. For those of you who don't know, by the way, I'm doing 3 prompts a month. Although actually, no, I'm not. I'm doing 4 now. And I remembered that Books and Lala does her prompts every year. And this one is like when, how, where, why. And so I think I'm going to read When We Were Birds by Ayana Lloyd Banwo, who I'm seeing this getting like raves everywhere, and it's really got me to want to read it now. It's out in February. I was going to say this because it's all about women who can turn into birds and take away the spirits of the dead and can speak to the dead when they're in human form. For the prompt, going back to prompts, one of which every month is a prompt from my mother, and my mother's prompt for me next month, it's on Storygraph. Somebody's put it so you can join in if you like. The prompt that my mum's giving me for next month is a book with birds or a bird in it, but I have got a backup now for that, so I think I'll be heading to this very soon indeed. I have that prompt, the one from my mum each month, and also I have got in this jar single words that you lovely lot who've been here a while got to leave in comments on a previous post, and I put them in and I have to use that word to inspire. So this month it's captivity. And then another prompt, which is probably the one I think I'm going to get rid of because I don't think it's going to work, is places where you all are. I actually don't know that, and then I could read books on them, but it's quite a similar, it is around the world, but they're in similar spots, and I want to read much more widely around the world this year, so I need to just look at that a little bit. But that said, Tilde Access Press with a translated fiction from all over the world is going to help me with that too. Right, so now we're opposite where I just was, and the lighting is actually much better here, although I think as the sun goes round, the reason that I didn't say actually about the office and why I don't think I'll film in there is once it gets to a certain point, it gets really dark in there because obviously it's lower down, whereas here the sun kind of goes over the rooftops, but down there it kind of goes just behind them. Random I can't even say meteorological fact, so that was me trying to be clever. And actually, thinking about it, the sofa bed's going to go here, so maybe this is just a no full stop, and we'll move to where the sofa will be. Maybe that's already just decided it and we're just going to carry on catching up about it, because actually I don't think this is going to work if obviously I've got a sofa bed there. And this armchair won't be the armchair that I've got. That's the one that's not now turning up until March. Let's move over there and then we can talk about what books I've picked for the prompts that I picked from the prompt jars. This is where my sofa will be. So this could actually be a nice position, because I'm thinking when I do collabs back in here again at some point, this will be the perfect place. Anyway, so this is the other option. Ignore that corner, and also the book trolley is just out of shot, but I could always bring that in a bit, I guess. If we needed more books, then we could shake a stick out. I don't know what I was going to say there. Prompts. So from the jars, and I realised I forgot one. So another of the prompts is that I took pictures of these shelves and my books that have been imported from different countries' shelves, like when I've travelled to America and stuff, and I bought books, when I've had books imported over from Australia, etc. I keep them over there. I put all of those, I took photos of them and then got my patrons to vote for 2 books each and put those into another pot. So actually I'll start with that one. The first book that came out of that pot was, the book that came out of that pot was Kate Atkinson's Behind the Scenes at Museum. So I need to read this before the end of the month. And I think it's going to be quite emotional because this was my grand's edition. It's got her signature in it there, and she got it in 1997 and she read it in Greece. So yeah, good old Dorothy Savage coming back through time and through my bookshelves to me, which is kind of a lovely feeling, but I think may also oddly make me want to cry quite a bit. Keeping it in the family, my mum's prompt for me for January was a book with a protagonist with the same name as me, and I think, although this might change, but I can't tell you what the book is because I can't spoil anything. It'll make sense at some point, probably in my vlog actually, in my next one, why I might switch from this one to another one. But currently it's The Betrayal of Trust by Susan Hill. It's a Simon Surreyla crime novel. Simon thought this would be a good one to give a whirl. It's book 6. I really enjoyed this series, but just haven't read it for ages, so I'm keen to get to it. I wanted to read it when I went away for my brother's 21st, but I didn't get any reading because we were having too much family fun with board games and the like. Now, the place that was pulled out was New Jersey from the place prompt jar, and Holly Black is from New Jersey. And thinking about reading Susan Hill's 6th in that series reminded me that there are other series that I have on my shelves that I haven't read, and this is one such series. I read the first, I can't remember what the first one's called, The Cruel Prince, and it was my first Holly Black, and I really enjoyed it. It was kind of my first step into the fantastical for quite some time. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to heading back to that world with that one. And then the one word prompt was captivity, and I had 4 books that I chose, and I got my patrons always linked down below, and they get to choose out of those 4 which one I read, and they went for Burnt Coat by Sarah Hall. So I need to read all 4 of these, although I might be switching this one out by the end of January. So that's possibly going to be my next themed, if I do. I don't know how I feel about theme read vlogs. I love them, I love watching them, but actually doing them myself, I kind of enjoy it, but at the same time, because I'm so keen to go off on whims this year, and because in the summer, so let's talk about work, and actually then we can talk about some work events. So my job is, I'm finishing one project, which is the BBC Novels That Shaped Our World project, where BBC came up with a list of 100 novels, and then with the Arts Council came up with some funding so that libraries could put events on around the UK, matching the themes that the books were divided into, 10 different themes, as well as the books themselves. And from that also, I should say, the podcast that I co-host with Dan Smith from Bastille and the author Irenis Nakojo, which is now live. I'll link it down below. It's on BBC Sounds, and I had so much fun making, and the feedback has been so lovely so far, so thank you very much. But that came from that. Anyway, so I do that one day a week because we're doing some legacy work, because due to the Panda Pop, I saved quite a bit of money, and so we're able to give more money to libraries to do more stuff. So I'm doing that one day a week, and then 2 days a week I work on another project with the Reading Agency, which is all about going to 15 different libraries across the UK and Northern Ireland, and we'll be doing it over the summer. We did a mini tour in the autumn. We're now doing one in the coming weeks. 15 different libraries all around the UK and Northern Ireland, where we are going out and meeting people and getting their stories and scanning places that mean a lot to them, things that mean a lot to them, people that mean a lot to them, and creating this incredible augmented reality map of their city, brimming with stories that they'll watch like a 3D ride in the libraries over a weekend over the summer. I'm away from home for 15 weeks. I think I come home twice, which is why Whim Reading is going to be big, because I'm not going to be able to do events and host events and stuff during that time. So yeah, I am actually feeling that this could be a temporary definite thing, because I need to film the next Sky Arts Book Club Extra, which is another thing that I do. I'm now doing that. I was meant to finish in December, but I'm now carrying on till the end of Feb, but that may get extended again. I'll tell you more about that when it happens. But there you go. That's all the worky stuff that I do, as well as actually the thought. But let's try something 1 second before. Hold that thought. I thought I would try this on. I thought I'd try it on. I thought I would try this out with the sort of, what's the word, soft focus, cinematic, that's the term, backdrop, and see if that's better or not. Or do you prefer to be able to see the books? Because I know some people getting outraged by Out when it was behind me back in the olden days, aka pre-2022. So going back to work, some other stuff that I have been doing that's coming up is tonight, after this video goes live, head to the Portico Prize YouTube channel, because I'll be hosting the finale where one of these 6 books will be named the winner for the Portico Prize at 2022. I had the pleasure of judging. I was chair of judges, actually. Blimey, crazy fools. I had the pleasure of being chair of judges 2 years ago. It's a prize that happens every 2 years. And our winner was Saltwater by Jessica Andrews, who will be part of the ceremony. And I'm so excited about her new book. But it's a prize that I love because it celebrates the North and the creativity and writing and landscape and sense of spirit and no, this is why I get the gigs. Evoke the spirit of the north of England the most. So yeah, looking forward to that later. There you go. So there we have that. Right, now another gig that is coming up on Tuesday next week is I'm hosting the Orion Showcase 2022. It's Orion's 30th birthday year, and they got me to host an event brimming with authors, including the wonderful the wonderful Reverend Richard Coles, whose Murder Before Evensong is brill. It's a really delightful thriller, and it's the first of a series of murder mysteries. I asked him how many, and I was shocked by the response. You can see that on Tuesday. And also, I got to chat to Candice Cotty-Williams about a book's not called Simon, no, that's me, but People Person, which is coming out in April. Oh my goodness, I loved Queenie. This is something else. It made me literally, my jaw dropped on chapter 2. I won't give anything away, but it's just a fascinating story about siblings, half siblings, which I have myself, and I never see them as half siblings. They feel like full siblings to me. And yeah, it's utterly brilliant. Very different from Queenie, which I was really excited by. And yeah, and I've just remembered that I've been asked to give a quote for it, and I need to do that. Then coming up, reading that I've got that isn't prompt, but it's kind of for work. One is going to be this, which is, let's see if I can zoom it in, The Leviathan by Rosie Andrews. I'm hosting an event with Rosie in Liverpool on the 3rd of February at Waterstones. And I haven't read this yet, but I've wanted to. It's one I've been really, really excited for. And it says, England, 1703, in a lonely farmhouse far from the sea, an old man is hiding a secret. Upstairs lies a nameless woman locked in an endless sleep. But outside a storm is brewing and the woman is beginning to stir, a beguiling tale of superstition, myth and murder from a major new voice. She is awake. Can't wait to read that one. And then Book Club is back, the Frank Book Club with me and the wonderful Melanie Sykes. We're going to be filming it next week, and we are reading The How by Ursa Daly Ward, which is notes on a great work of meeting yourself. It's not a self-help book, but it is a book that looks at the experiences that Ursa Daly Ward has had, and how you can use those and the lessons she's learnt yourself, if that makes sense. I suppose it does sound a bit self-helpy, but it's sort of not. And then in March, Crime Time with Pip returns, and we are going to be reading Girl A by Abigail Dean, which is one of the Women's Prize Future Voices shortlisted authors. Wow, I did a whole video on that, which I'll link down below if you missed it. So yeah, Pip and I are seeing each other on Sunday, and I'm going to give her copy. So that is what is coming up in terms of planned reading. So there we go. Is there anything else? Possibly. Give me 1 second and we'll go to one final location. Of course there was something else for me to talk about, and that is that it is going to be the Costa Book Award overall winner very soon. I had the pleasure of being one of the judges on this last year, and Costa got in touch with me and my mum and said, would we like to read each of the shortlisted winners? So Fall by John Preston won the non-fiction category, and then Crossing by Manjeet Mann won the YA category, I want to say. Unsettled Ground by Claire Fuller won the novel category. Caleb Azuma Nelson's Open Water won the debut novel category, and Poetry was won by Hannah Lowe with The Kids. We are hoping to try and do that video, but my diary has suddenly gone a little bit mad, and the winners being announced, I think, on the 1st or 2nd of February, and me and Mum aren't sure if we're going to be able to meet up. And I don't love doing videos on Zoom anymore. I just don't. I feel like I've zoomed myself out. Anyway, yeah, that is that, I think. I don't think there's anything else. I mean, there probably is. Hopefully I will do this live and it will be less chaotic, and I'll have decided from my thoughts, your thoughts and comments down below where I'm going to be filming from now on. So yeah, this is actually quite a nice spot, although the shelves slightly, I mean, I have to get right in the centre also not to bother myself, although I quite like to be slightly off centre in my videos because then I've got space for the books. But also this bothers me here, this little gap, which is where the light switch is, so I have to take the back out, otherwise this used to be 2 rooms, and this bit would be very dark without that. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too rambly and chaotic and here, there and everywhere, but I hope it gave you more insight into how I have my books, more of kind of, I suppose it was a bit of a library tour without intending to be one, and if you're new, it gave you more insight into what I do, etc, etc. But I hope you're all doing super duper well. I'll be back on Sunday with my next reading vlog, and then next week, I don't know what I'm doing next week. If there's any videos you'd like to see, let me know that in the comments below too, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye! Oh, don't wave normally. It must be this corner, it's bringing something out in me. Bye!